Of course, we have problems. New Orleans has a problem with mental health issues. We don't have enough mental health facilities to deal with that problem. Um, we have a drug issue in New Orleans. Uh, there's not a lot of resources to help people get clean. There's a large unhoused population, and not that unhoused people are inherently dangerous. They're not, but if you are pushed to the edges of society, you might be pushed to do something to get you easy easy cash. So we have our issues, we certainly do, but I don't think that that tells the whole story. And when you live in New Orleans, what I love so much about the city is that for a larger city, it has a hometown vibe to it, in that there is an incredible sense of community. Like neighbors watch out for neighbors. I remember one night I was in my house and my neighbors like yelling, knocking on my door, going, Sandy, Sandy, somebody just jumped over your fence. And I came out and he went and checked out my whole yard for me and was like, make sure all your doors are locked. And if you have any problems, you holler at me and I'll be back over here no matter what time it is in the evening. And then, and it's little acts like that that make you feel safe, but it's more than that. Like when I owned a truck, I came out one morning and I had like two flat tires on my truck. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to walk to work and deal with that when I come home. And when I came home, my neighbor is like finishing up replacing both of my truck tires. And he wouldn't let me give him any money. He was like, no, baby, that's what neighbors do. We just take care of you. Like this man, and like I think it was August. So he's like sweated it out, changing two truck tires for me and didn't ask for anything in return, which meant either he had a truck tire spare, because I only had one spare up the street, and he's just like, take it. I mean, that's like amazing. And that does not get talked about in the news, because the thing that we forget about the media now is that it's all about ratings. And what gets the ratings to go up is to talk about the shooting, to talk about the bad crime, to talk about the horrific disaster that happened here, instead of talking about these moments that make living in New Orleans worth it. So yeah, come to New Orleans. You're going to love it. Most people come and don't have any problems whatsoever. I mean, the city, if you like food, it's a foodie town. Everywhere you go is good food, from dive bar slash restaurants to like Michelin rated restaurants. You stuff your face while you're here. There's, bartenders that are so gifted at creating amazing craft cocktails. Don't even get me started on the music. I mean, there's jazz music, there's blues music, there's swing music, there is amazing architecture. And if you like to travel like I like to travel, there'll be plenty of places to talk to locals. And New Orleanians fancy themselves to be storytellers. And that will be probably the best thing that you take away from New Orleans is the people. However, having said all of that, there's always precautions that you should be taking when you're anywhere, whether that's a small town or any big city. You should just be using common sense. And common sense says if I'm walking down a street late at night and all of a sudden I'm the only one on that street, I should turn around and go back. It's better to take a Lyft or an Uber to where I'm going than it is risk walking all alone on a deserted street. It's staying in well lit areas, it's managing your alcohol consumption. We want people to come to New Orleans and drink. We want you to have a good time, you know? But I will say this, if you're out drinking, it's probably best, if you really want to get drunk, that you wait till you get back to your hotel bar to do it, because now you're in your hotel. And that's a little safer than if you're out and about getting incredibly intoxicated, meandering your way and not paying attention to who's paying attention to you. And the other thing about alcohol consumption, which is very important, and we do have a problem with this in New Orleans, and that is people spiking your drink. I don't ever turn my back on my drink. I don't go anywhere that my drink doesn't come with me. If I'm going to the bathroom, my drink comes with me. If I'm just doing this, I have my hand over my drink. And that's not just for women. I know we think about it because we think these are date rape drugs or whatever, but it's also for men. And men are getting their drink spiked in New Orleans because it makes it easier to rob you if you don't have your faculties together. So men should be covering their drinks. Men should take their drinks with them to the bathroom. Everybody should be doing that, hands down.
In the latest on the death of a reporter from Kansas City during the Super Bowl in New Orleans, a Kenner police detective testified the suspects regularly tried to rob people after drugging them. 49-year-old Danette Colbert and 34-year-old Ricky White are facing a second-degree murder charge. The detective says they obtained text messages between the two. Colbert wrote, "Got the phone code. He got money in here and I'm waiting for him to sleep. About to check the ATM and then to you."
So if you drive to New Orleans, it's best to park in well-lit areas, especially most of your hotels will have hotel parking. That is because not only are carjackings on the rise, and we do have problems with people smashing windows and grabbing whatever is out and about that they can see. So, if you're parking in the hotel parking lot, if you're parking in well-lit areas, don't leave anything of value out in your car. And then when you're driving down the street, just make sure every single one of your doors are locked and always be paying attention to who's coming up on you and have your escape route if someone is coming up on you when you're driving. So, yeah, petty crime is going to be a problem wherever you go. Let's be honest. And that is just basically making sure that you're blending in with your surroundings, that you have not worn all of your most expensive jewelry out, that you aren't flashing a lot of cash when you go out. If you have a bag that it's across the shoulder as opposed to here, which is just too easy to grab, snatch and run, that if you're sitting in an outside cafe, on the street somewhere, that you don't just have your bag sitting in the chair, sitting on the ground where someone could easily grab it and run with it. It's just, again, paying attention to your surroundings and keeping things close to you and using common sense. I tell everybody on my tour that you don't owe anyone your time. You don't. You don't have to be rude about it, but when people come up to you on the street, you can just say no, thank you, and just keep walking. You don't have to stop. You don't have to be polite. You don't have to have conversations because there are so many scammers. There are the people that are going to walk up to you and be like, "Hey, I bet I can tell you where you got your shoes." And you're going to be like, "There's no way you know where I bought my shoes." But that's not what they're saying. They're going to say, "You got your shoes on your feet." And then they're going to want you to give them money. And they can get upset if you don't give them money. So just, just cut through all of the BS and keep walking. Just go, "Nope, sorry, thanks. Have a nice day. Bye. Sorry, I don't have anything." I mean, I do that. I walk everywhere and I do that the whole time that I'm walking. "Sorry, nope, no thanks. Thanks, swirl, walk around you, go." I understand that when Airbnb came onto the scene, that they marketed it in a way that you would have more privacy, that you're not in one hotel room. So if one person wants to go to bed early and the other people want to stay up talking, that everybody is kept up, and that's the great thing about Airbnb because now you're in a house. But the thing about that is that it's not being monitored in the same way that hotels are monitored. You oftentimes don't know what kind of neighborhood you're staying in, whether that neighborhood is safe, whether that neighborhood is adjacent to a neighborhood that isn't so safe. They don't monitor for things like fire hazards. They're not monitoring for things like gas leaks. And they're certainly not monitoring to see if anybody's about to break into your Airbnb in the same way that hotels are much safer in that regard. So I always just recommend, like, leave the Airbnb, just don't do that. Just go ahead and book at a hotel. Oh, yeah. So women, if you're traveling alone, and that's great, power to you. Uh, just don't tell people that you're traveling by yourself. And that actually, honestly, I would also give that same advice to men. You just shouldn't tell anybody that you're traveling by yourself. But also too, if you are walking around and you're a woman, You know, our society often teaches women to fawn, which is if someone is after them, they make themselves smaller and just be like, maybe you'll just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Don't hurt me. And that is the last thing that you should do. If somebody is bothering you, you need to get loud and you need to get big and you need to scream and you need to shout and you need to be somewhat confrontational to try to make them run away because somebody's probably going to hear what's happening and come out, and they don't want that. They're looking for someone who's weak, someone who's easy, someone that they can target and move on. Just to go back over things, common sense. We want you to come here. We want you to have a good time. But if you're drinking, save the heavy drinking for when you're back in your hotel room and you're safe. Monitor your drinks. Don't leave your drinks unattended. Put your hand over your drinks if you're turning your back on them. Um, just mind your drink. Always mind your drink. Don't be flashy with your cash. Don't be flashy with jewelry and expensive things. If you have a bag, wear it across your shoulder so it's nobody can just grab it and go. Don't leave your bag sitting unattended, obviously. Uh, Stay in well lit, well trafficked areas. Park in well lit, well trafficked areas, and never leave anything out in your car that you don't want to part with because there are a lot of like smash your windows and grab types of crime in New Orleans. And then I think you'll have a great time. And come take one of our walking tours.